So this story we're diving into today, it's not really about a property dispute. It's an investigation into a tragedy that was entirely preventable. A story that starts where most end, with the final bill, for a secret that was deliberately kept. This is all about what happens when critical information about the place you call home is held back.
$57,000. Now, that number, it's more than just money. It is the exact calculated cost of repairs for damages that were already known, already documented, and then intentionally concealed. This is the tangible dollars and cents price of a secret.
But, the real cost, it goes so much deeper than just the finances. As we're about to see, this is a story about a massive violation of trust. It's about the corrosion of the one place we're all supposed to feel secure. It's about what happens when someone gatekeeps the medical records of a home and turns a sanctuary into a source of real danger.
Okay, let's get into the investigation. Every case filed has a first page, a first piece of evidence. And for this house, that was the official Level 2 home survey, a document that's supposed to give you clarity. But in this case, it really only served to hide the truth.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the language they use. A reasonable proposition. Deficiencies are common. You see that? The tone is deliberately, reassuring. It admits there are flaws, sure, but it frames them as totally normal, manageable things you'd expect with an older home. This was the official story being told.
And here is our first visual clue. The report notes a crack right where the new extension meets the original house. It says movement has occurred, but it's presented without any real alarm bells. On the surface, it's just a data point, right? An observation logged away in this big, dense 43-page document. It's designed to be seen, but maybe not fully understood as the critical warning it actually was.
And then you go to the other side of the house, and it's the same story. More cracking noted, again, right at the junction of the extension. So you've got two separate pieces of evidence pointing to movement, but both are categorized in a way that just suggests routine maintenance, not some fundamental serious flaw.
But here's the thing. There was another document. A second report. A far more specialized damp and structural investigation that had already been done. And this report, well, it didn't just tell a different story. It revealed that the first one was basically a dangerous work of fiction.
So what you've got here is a classic case of the wrong tool for the job. A Level 2 survey is fine for simple, straightforward properties. But this house had secrets. The very existence of this second, more intense report proves that someone already knew a deeper look was necessary. And what they found was absolutely devastating.
Just look at the change in language here. It's night and day. The second report takes the initial finding of simple cracking and upgrades it to severe cracking. It explicitly says it's caused by the movement of the house. The problem isn't just cosmetic, it's active, it's structural.
And this right here illustrates the point perfectly. On the left, you see the initial photo of the crack. On the right, you're looking at the same area, but now you're seeing it through the lens of the structural report. Suddenly, it's not just a crack in the brickwork anymore. It's the primary symptom of a house in serious distress. And right here, this is the smoking gun. This is not a suggestion, it is a critical warning. The second report explicitly states that no cosmetic fixes, no plastering, no painting, should even begin until the fundamental structural movement is fixed. This warning was known, and it was hidden.
So the structural problems, they were just one part of the danger. The report that was withheld also detailed extensive damp, and that carries its own whole set of serious consequences. The investigation now shifts from the health of the house to the health of the people living inside it.
You see, damp environments create the perfect breeding ground for these tiny, microscopic creatures. And it's not actually the mites themselves, but their droppings that trigger all sorts of allergic reactions. A damp house is, quite literally, a factory for allergens.
And look, these are not just minor annoyances. This is the real, physical price you pay for living in a compromised environment. An environment that someone knew was toxic and chose to say absolutely nothing about. And the damage, it doesn't stop at the physical. Research consistently shows this strong link between living with damp and mold and some really negative psychological outcomes. The constant worry, the shame, that feeling of being unsafe in your own home, it creates this profound mental distress. Which brings us to the absolute heart of this whole investigation. All of this was known. The structural risks, the health hazards, the urgent warnings. It was all there in black and white. So why? Why was it all concealed? I mean, really think about that.
Why would someone make the choice to withhold information that could prevent financial ruin, physical illness, and serious psychological harm? This wasn't some simple oversight. This was a decision that had victims.
And the answer is, well, it's pretty shocking. Legally, they didn't have to do a thing. A surveyor's report is considered a private document. The person who pays for it has zero legal obligation to share what's inside. The entire system relies on a sense of moral duty, a duty that in this case was completely absent.
And that is the betrayal at the core of this whole story. Hiding that report was like a doctor hiding a serious diagnosis from a patient. It stopped the new owner from being able to take preventative action, from protecting themselves and their family. It fundamentally compromised their safety.
And so that brings us right back to where we started, the money. But now that number isn't just a figure on a page. It's the sum total of every lie, every omission, every single consequence that flowed from that one catastrophic decision to hide the truth. $57,000, the final non-negotiable price for a list of repairs that were already documented, already detailed in a report that was deliberately buried.
And this isn't some abstract number pulled out of thin air. This is just a fraction of the actual line items from that second report. We're talking thousands for new plaster after hacking off the old, thousands more for specialized membranes to fight back the damp. Every single item on that list represents a failure that was known and concealed.
Ultimately, this whole investigation reveals a weakness not just in brick and mortar, but in the trust we have to place in other people during some of life's biggest decisions. And it leaves us with a really critical question. When our homes are on the line, what is the true price of a secret?